Welcome to Rants and Reels. I'm Kyle. I'm going to the movies. And today, I'm going to see Avengers: Infinity War. Now, people have only been waiting for this movie for, depends on where you start counting, 10 to 6 years? Let's see, 12... Since 2012, when the first Avengers film came out and we got to see Thanos in that end credits stinger that, destroyed everybody back then. And we're going to see how Anthony and Joe Russo do with this. They knocked it out of the park with Civil War and Winter Soldier, I think. Winter Soldier is still one of the best Marvel films according to most people, and the Captain America Civil War was certainly right up there. And we've got a screenplay. We've got a screenplay by Christopher Markus and Stephen McFeely, who have... See, they did Civil War, Agent Carter, Winter Soldier, Thor, Dark World, Captain America, the first Avenger. So they've got a pedigree on them. It's safe to say that this team of people know what they're doing as far as these films go. But I'll be back in a minute, and I'll tell you what I think. Why don't you, while you wait for me to come back, check out the trailer.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal. To wipe out half the universe. If he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like that.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos.
We got one advantage. He's coming to us. We have what Thanos wants. So that's what we'll use.
Let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
Wow.
The end is near. When I'm done, half of humanity will still exist. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. I hope they remember you.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
Avengers: Infinity War. Poster. What to say? What to say about that? On one hand, it's really hard to judge a movie that is incomplete, I guess. It's a I mean, this is got to be a multi-part thing. There are things that need to be resolved. So, trying to put that out of my mind. And there's a lot to work over here. So, I liked it. Objectively, it was very, very good. But there's a lot to mull over here. But I think best when I'm driving. So before I really start talking about this movie, about Avengers Infinity War, let me first throw out a little disclaimer. This is going to be a spoiler-free, as much as humanly possible. Evaluating and breaking down a film like Avengers Infinity War is going to be difficult. Not because the film itself was complex, but because the pieces that went into building this film, this narrative, took a decade of filmmakers, a decade of film and filmmakers laying this groundwork and developing these characters. Because all of that took 10 years, there are a lot of elements from all of these different characters and all of these different stories that are wrapped up into a much larger arc. Now we did only get half an arc, I guess. I mean, without knowing what else is coming in, presumably the second half of Infinity War, which may not be. We don't know. We know nothing about what's to come. So I can't say whether we got half an arc, 3/4 of an arc, an act one. I can't say. I simply do not know. And just for the sake of convenience, I'm going to not speculate to the best of my ability. So it's going to be a task. It's going to be work to kind of unwrap a lot of these elements and lay things out in an objective way to evaluate all these things. So bear with me. So just focusing on what I just saw. So 2.5 hours, about 2.5 hours for this story, for this arc to play out. A huge cast of characters. Even with that huge cast of characters, and the multiple little mini arcs, and everything was very compartmentalized here, so they didn't run into each other. They ran into each other. It was a cohesive arc and story, but they didn't collide. Everything fit together very neatly. And because you have all of these characters, because you have this big cast of characters, segregated off from each other for much of the film, it was easier to keep track of what's happening where and when and why and how. Now we got a lot of good exposition and there were some terrific moments. Really, the two big standout, three big standout moments. Thanos was a big surprise. I mean, not showing up. I mean, we've known he was coming and this was going to happen for a while. That wasn't the surprise. The surprise was what a layered character that was, and the surprising nuance in Josh Brolin's performance. That was surprising. And I really, really liked the notes they hit. It was a great nemesis, a great adversary, a great villain for a story. And now a great villain is one that you might be able to agree a good deal with. You might be able to identify with them or agree with their objectives or goals, but have some serious problems or disagreements with the methods. That's a good villain. That's a great villain. In this case, it was hard to pin down, and they did a lot. The Russos did a lot to really highlight that. So that was a terrific element from this movie. Gamora was just fantastic. That arc, that emotion, that level of emoting from Zoe Saldana was it's not quite what you expect from a comic book superhero movie. So it wasn't all candy floss, explosions, excitements, fighting. There was nuance and layer, and you got a lot of that. Not a lot, but you got a good amount of that also from Thor, from Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth did quite a bit to show some terrific range with that character and his ability. Robert Downey Jr. His Stark came close to some of those elements, but I don't really. It was nothing more than what we've seen him capable of with that character. Good, very, very good. Where he went with it, but it wasn't anything terribly new or groundbreaking. I'm trying to think of, like I said, there was a lot here, so now I'm trying to think of other moments, elements that really stood out in this movie. Now there were a lot of standout moments, so I'm also trying to pump my brakes a bit and not drop any unintentional spoilers. And now that I really think about it, I should probably refrain from other moments, because there are some great moments between Wanda, Scarlet Witch, whose the actress name is on a piece of paper, her name's right here at the bottom of the screen, and Vision, Paul Bentley. There were some terrific moments there as well. I could probably just sit and rattle off a list of terrific moments. Especially if I didn't want to avoid spoilers. There was a lot that was great. A lot that was great and terrific and super fun to watch. These character interactions. Some of these new character interactions, where you have Peter Quill and Tony Stark, where we've, been, and those two are going to be fun to watch as soon as they get together. That was fun to watch. The interactions between Thor and Rocket were probably my favorite. All the interactions between these new characters, all of them were really fun. And these characters, first, these actors know the characters so well that it all comes very naturally to them now. And the writers, these writers know these characters as well. So the consistency, even though we have different directors, even different writers, the consistency among these characters is terrific. And I noticed very little difference, really. The more I think about this, the more I realize that I am going to drop spoilers if I keep going. If you want a better analysis, really, a better breakdown, check the written review. Check my written review down in the video description. I'm going to break a couple more things out there in better detail. Again, spoiler free. I am not going to be that guy. Not on purpose, anyway. And this is where I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. And have a good afternoon.